Hi, Daddy. What you doing?
You doing the regatta shuffle right now? Oh, a little scullin'. And scoopin'. Some count style and ting. Well, let's go. Skull looking effort.
Yo, it's your boy Dyson Knight, and welcome back to the Sup'm Show. This is episode 146. Listen, if you don't use it, you lose it. Yes, even a boycott of yourself brings about loss. It's the most basic economic rule. High demand plus low supply equals high prices. Low demand plus high supply equals low prices. And I'd say it's a safe bet that no one wants to invest time and money to build a product or service just to have it sold to no one. It's super easy to see that if you want change, boycotting is the way. So why aren't we using this more? It's something to think about. So let's bring on a brilliant mind to discuss today's topic, the power of boycott. Yo, what is going on, Dr. Kent Buzzard?
Okay. What's up, Bahamas? What's up, my brother?
How come you be so high up there?
I start today. There you go.
Oh, there we go. There we go.
Yep. What's up? How you doing, man? What's up, Bahamas? Welcome. God damn it, welcome. Good to have you all again. Apologies for my tardiness. But
you're right on time, man. You're right on time.
Yeah, man. How's it been?
Yo, it's been crazy, to be honest. But I might as well say everything has been the same. Everything has been quite the same. So this topic on boycotting.
Yeah.
Have you ever personally participated in a boycott?
I would say, and I thought about it when you gave us the topic. I participated. Do you remember a few years back? The doctors staged a walkout. We call it a walkout. Now, our counterparts, and our very esteemed counterparts, the nurses of Princess Margaret Hospital, when I was there, have had plenty what they call sick out. That's a Bahamian term for Bahamian labor force term.
All right.
For everybody calling in sick. All right. So we call it a sick out. Okay. So that's kind of it's a kind of a /protest /boycott. So I was part of a walkout, which is similar but not exactly the same thing. More of a protest, but nevertheless, we absconded from a service, or at least from providing the service, not really consuming the service, just to bring awareness to what our plight was. And we didn't get a lot of support from the public. And our counterparts do it. It works for them very well, but the public...
The nurses, you mean? Counterparts?
Yes.
Okay.
They're usually very successful. They're sick out, so they boycott work. But we simply walked downtown for an hour and went back to work. We got blasted online, man.
Why do you think that is? Because that one thing comes to my mind. Let me find out from you first. Why do you think that was? Why such low support?
Reading the comments, I think it is people's impression that we live a very lavish lifestyle, and basically they think that most people believe that the hospital can't run if a doctor is not there. So they thought people would just start, I guess, dying because we're not there. So they branded us as heartless and insensitive, and but little do they know that we're actually owed a whole lot of money that I've let go of because I know I'm never going to receive it.
Mm-hmm.
But a quite large lump sum each individual, and it's been years that we've been promised. Each new administration has promised that they will fulfill, but it's just Not going to happen. And we still go to work anyway. And this has been probably 15 years now. We've been promised this money. So, but nobody cares because we live lavish lifestyles. We're doctors, and we play golf on the weekends. We don't have any financial problems. So,
for the sake of sensitizing the public on why I think it's good to think of the whole picture or think deeper into the picture when it comes to doctors in your, because I believe everyone, if you have something sensible to stand for, you should definitely stand for it, right? But I also think it's extremely important to have the support, which comes through the understanding of why you're standing on a premise, right? And
Right.
for the sake of the public understanding the challenges of doctors, like, why is it that you feel is the number one reason y'all should get paid the amount of money that you do?
Time. Time put into achieving just a basic medical degree. If you include your post-high school, just for a general practitioner, is almost 10 years. You have four to 5 years for your first degree, and 4 to 5 years for your general medicine degree, and then another 5 to 8 years, depending on what you specialize in after that. Then
Just to
there's
put that into context, though, how long does it take to be a police officer? Do you know?
it's like 18 months. Like the training is pretty short. It's like 18 months, 2 years.
I think it's a year. I
Okay.
really think it's a year. I think I heard from someone here, even in Canada, that it takes about a year to become
Right.
a police officer. Well, then again, the argument is police officers don't make the same amount of money as doctors do. But you're talking about 10 years of time to become
It's
a doctor.
time. It's
Yeah,
time. And it's not
and
just
time is
time,
money.
but
When you say time, okay, continue.
time. The time you put into just becoming the profession, I think that's just the starting point of the discussion. The second point is the time that you put in at work. Now, most physicians in the Bahamas put over, especially in the public system, put in over 100 hours a week, and that may sound impossible, but I can guarantee you it's possible to put in 100 hours a week, and we don't get overtime, right?
Whew.
My mentor told me, a doctor is never off. And that's the mentality you must have. Like, you're never off. You're never, I'm not working today. Like, you're not off. If you're a senior, or if a patient has to be seen, or there's something that has to be done. I remember my first holiday like as an intern, and I was talking to my senior, and I said, okay, so we off tomorrow? He's like, off? It's like, what are you talking? He's like, what are you talking about? Like, what are you talking about off? I've seen. So that's time. Everybody and every profession can put in a high level of dedication, but most of my colleagues are extremely dedicated. We work in COVID was just a sparring match for us. We do COVID all the time. We're always working in an environment where infectious disease is very high risk, where needle sticks and HIV contraction is, and any other bloodborne disease, TB, all those things are at risk, and we have to just work in the environment. My colleagues and myself, talking about other health professionals, we have to work in the environment. We just have to do it, and the absolute responsibility is on the physician for the outcome of the patient. So, time, yes, in that regard. And lastly, I would say the depth of knowledge that when you call someone a doctor, it's supposed to mean that they have a certain level of knowledge. So if you have a doctorate in paper cutting, they're supposed to know things about paper cutting that I can't even fathom. Right? So the depth of knowledge and the depth of expertise that you get from this person because of their years of training and the time they put in and their experience is the reason why the the pay grade is high, and any other um, highly paid profession is essentially the same. Demand is high, the expertise requirement is high, and the training level is high, so the workload
And
is high.
as a
It,
regular,
it,
as not a doctor, right?
uh,
I don't really understand. I don't really relate to the time. Um, in consideration of, because personally, I don't believe as though you can trade hours for dollars, right? I think it's more of a trade of your expertise, which has to do. I mean, it's related to time for you as a doctor, but even still, if you spend 10 years in school as a doctor, that don't mean that you will actually come out of school being a good doctor. Like, or you
no,
come out of
that's
school.
anyone. That's any profession.
Right. So
That's
so
any
it's
profession.
like the quality of service, the quality of the expertise which you should be paid for. But so the time thing would be difficult for me to understand. However, I would understand dollars. Like I would understand if you say to me, and because this is how I would think as not a doctor, right? What y'all need all the money for? Like, how would you how would you respond to that simple? Because my thing is, and I do this. You've heard me say this to you before.
Uh-huh.
I almost, it's almost like I boycott like a lot of men do, boycott doctors. Like we
Right.
boycott going to see a doctor. Part of that's because we don't feel as though everything is that wrong with us, and the other
Yeah.
part is because doctors are expensive.
Okay.
Right? So
Healthcare is expensive.
healthcare is expensive. So
Mhm.
so somebody asks you, if y'all was walking on this doing this boycott, this protest, because it wasn't really a boycott. Man, you was boycotting work for an hour. But it was more so of a protest because you were trying to bring about awareness, right? And I was to ask you, what you need all the money for? I scream at him, but what the fuck y'all need all that money for anyway? Like, what would be an intelligent response to that?
Well, look, the question, you could ask that question of anybody. Why does anybody need money?
I know why I need it.
We were talking about artists last week. Why does any musician, why should one musician make billions of dollars? Why should Dr. Dre have $1 billion? And there are rappers out there who could run circles around Dr. Dre, or there are musicians out there who probably as good as he is, but they're not billionaires. So the quality is one thing. So as you said about the time, just to go back to the time issue,
Mhm.
A person and myself might put in 10 years of study, and like you said, one person, whether you be a good physician, a competent physician, sorry, that 10 years is just to train a competent physician.
Got
All
you.
right, that's just competent. That's not your world. That's not a great physician. Greatness comes with more time. Right, when you get more of these, and you've been around for a little bit of then you become great. So competency is the initial exit from medical school. All right, then you try to
Mhm.
achieve a higher skill level and specialization.
I may head up and down because the dock is frozen, and I just messaged my son, because those you joining live, if you can actually see it, okay, solid. Apparently, we are good on TikTok and streaming live, but I can't see your comments, which is one of the main reasons why I do this show live. I want to see your comments. I got to figure out how I could do that while streaming to TikTok. But if you want to comment, you can go to the YouTube stream and comment there. I should be able to see your comments for that live stream. So I was trying to get the doctor to really just basically tell me, give me a purpose for the boycott, because I believe that boycotts should, I mean, it would be good if they have a positive mission, something to achieve that is going to benefit the masses. And in his situation, like, I personally know doctors who are struggling, but it ain't that many, and then struggle is relative. Like, the more money, the more problems. The more money you have, the more bills. So let me see if I could get Doc back in to really explain, because I don't know what he's slapping up for with all of this talk about all this talk about expertise and time and thing. I want to know what you need the money for. Like, okay, let me bring him back in. I ain't gonna beat him up while it's in here. Hey, Doc, you ain't hear none of that, right? Because
I heard all of that. No. Yeah, I don't know what our magnificent internet providers are doing these days,
it's all
but
good, man.
I've been getting some trouble from them, man. I'm really mad at both of them. But
Oh
anyway,
gosh,
your
boycott.
question is what we need the money for, all right?
Yes, thanks.
There's nothing. So I think I honestly think that's an unfair question, because you can't ask anybody. You can ask anybody that question,
Hit me.
and they could say what: shoes, hair, nails. You understand what I mean? Like, and those are all superficial things. But the
Mhm.
truth is, the reason why it's expensive is because it's expensive to produce. That's the reason why healthcare is so expensive. Healthcare is expensive to provide. Whether that's even if you do it, because we're moving more towards automated things now. AI is coming on board, and we have robotic surgery right here in the Bahamas. So um, these things are well, let me not say robotic, but anyway, assisted surgeries right here in the Bahamas. But
Mhm.
I'm saying it's expensive to provide. These things are not free to produce. They're not cheap
Mhm.
to produce.
Mhm.
When you see a medication advertised on TV, they've already spent billions of dollars before they sell a single pill. I'm not excusing them now, but they've
Right.
spent. I'm not excusing them for irresponsible behavior, but I'm
Mhm.
saying they've spent billions of dollars, and many times they spend these billions, and the pill is not approved, the medication is not approved, and that money is gone. They got to start
Yeah.
over. People don't
Mhm.
hear about. They don't hear about that. They only hear about the medication that comes to the market. They don't hear about the
Mhm.
other ones that are rejected, that they spend billions of dollars on. Because why? You got to pay the people who doing the research. You got to pay the security guard at the laboratory. Like, everybody has to be paid. Everything has to be accounted for. So
Yeah.
it's an expensive process. It's continuously evolving and improving. At least, we continuously trying to perpetually improve ourselves. That's why medicine is called a practice.
How much money
Um,
you spend? How much money does it cost for you to do that? Like, what are you investing or reinvesting in your practice?
so how much it cost me to become a physician, or how much my
Not
practice
really to
cost?
become, because we could talk about how much it costs, how much a school
Okay,
costs. Because this
okay,
could be a simple answer.
yeah,
You already answered to say it's just expensive to be a doctor.
yeah.
I think the mission, though, if I was to give doctors some advice into future plans to boycott, if you still have the issue that you were experiencing when you took that hour lap around downtown, um, to be a bit more layman's in the explanation as to why you should receive payment for work for the job you've done. I mean, if it
Well,
was me, I would say, "Boy, how much money? Let me ask. How much money it costs you for school to become a doctor? How much money would you
it
say
cost
roughly?"
it cost me from my basic degree roughly 150K.
So that's
That
150 grand.
that's
Damn.
cheap. That is cheap. That is
Okay.
cheap for
So
med school.
that's on the
That's
lower
cheap.
school, but that's
That's
still that.
on the lower end.
And how many years? How many years was that schooling? I
That's
mean, that's
5 years. That's
that
five
that.
years of school.
And okay,
So
but
you
we go
come so
in.
you come out of school and you're in debt up to your eyeballs.
Mhm. And all the
Right?
while, you still got to eat. You still got to buy food. You still got to transportation. You still got to have a place to live. You still
Absolutely.
need to pay for shitty cable. You still have to do a,
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, internet.
But here's the thing. We weren't just to be clear, we didn't do that protest for a raise in pay. We did
What was
that
it?
protest for pay that was promised and we never received after
Mm,
over 10 years at that time. That was 5 years ago. over 10 years at that time, we were promised this funds.
Who's
It
supposed to
was
pay from
signed.
who? Who's supposed to pay y'all?
The government was supposed to pay.
Okay, so can I make a suggestion? Because
All right.
this is how you turn a protest into a boycott. How about this? How about you ask people when they come to the hospital to receive care from a doctor if they work for government, and if they work for if they work for government, you tell them, I need you to go back to your margin, tell them we can't serve you until we get our bub.
So
Now that's
there,
mean.
there's a conflict there because whoever's oath we do take an oath, right? We don't take the Hippocratic.
I'm just
oath
joking, by
anymore.
the way, but yeah, I
I
got
know
you.
you're joking. I know you're joking.
Yeah,
We don't take the Hippocratic oath anymore. But
you don't.
no, we don't. We take a modernized. I took a modernized version of the oath. We don't take the strict Hippocratic oath anymore. It's outdated, and so we actually have our own. All right.
Okay.
But it basically says the same thing. We cannot refuse to help if we're there to help,
Okay.
right? And even legally we can't do it. But the truth is now I am certain that any physician who says this would be like, oh wow, I forgot about that, because we stop thinking about it. It's really not something that stays on the forefront of our minds. We there to do our job, and when it's time to leave, we just leave. You know.
Yeah.
I mean, I'll see it again. It's not a big deal. I mean, it's a big deal. I'll never forget it, but it's not a big deal. I'm not gonna go chase down anybody and say where my money. It's gone. It's done.
When it's government, it's different. So I get what the plight is. I feel as though doctors are important. I think living a healthy lifestyle is even more important. And I think the
Correct.
most important job in any civilization anywhere, even in outer space, is teachers. I think teachers are the most important job, because you wouldn't know how to be a doctor without someone teaching you. So back to the that really open a lot of the conversation on healthcare, which I think we need to bring that show back sooner than later. But you always be scared to talk, but like is difficult to and boycotts are difficult too, because you don't want to be the one they take a picture of and they decide to victimize.
Exactly. It's scary. I mean, we have a small society. It's almost like man, it's almost like a socialist society because it's so small. But because I don't make up a word here. Our socialness is very strong, right?
Yeah.
In this country, you somebody child who's somebody cousin uncle.
Oh yeah.
From Andres, and their mother was from Exuma, and like you know who they is as soon as they say their name. Oh, Pratt. Oh, you was Pratt from Long Island. They know, right? So we live in that type of. You don't have that in the United States. I live in the United States 6 years, and that anonymity has its plus and minuses also. But here, if you decide to take a stand publicly about something, you risk a lot more because everybody knows you and everybody could find you.
That's crazy.
80% of the population lives on one of the smallest islands. So you're quite easy to be found. People will know, hey, that's that guy's shop over there. Remember, he's the one who walked in, who boycotted my political party or talked about my prime minister. So I'm not going to buy from his shop because he talked about my prime minister. Or not even him.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah. Not even him. His it could be his relative. His relative.
My other word was stupid, but I just said crazy to be nice.
It is stupid. It is stupid. Because we would refuse. That's a I don't know if there's such a term as a reverse boycott, but it's like you're boycotting something that you actually need, not boycotting something that you could probably do without. If you're going to boycott something, it should be something you can do without. But don't choose not to go where you know you should because you want to teach somebody some type of lesson.
It's
So
like when little kids hold their breath in protest, like they don't need the air no more. I'm just gonna not have air.
you've never heard a successful hunger strike from a child. And I always tell my wife, you know, children don't starve themselves. They don't. So
No,
if they're not eating, don't worry about it.
I agree. I
Leave
agree
them alone.
100%. That's an unsuccessful protest slash boycott, along with the Doctors March downtown. I apologize. It was it was successful, right? But one of the more successful boycotts that I have a personal issue with, and I haven't. It's Rosa Parks, and my issue with it is because they speak more so, and I don't know if it's on purpose, but they speak more so about her protests of not wanting to go to the back of the bus. They don't really speak about the actual boycott that led to the Supreme Court decision to segregate the transit system. They think it was Rosa Parks. Like, if you ask me, I don't know, people who are watching the live could say whether or not they know more about it than not. But the Montgomery City Lines Incorporated, that company, was the target of a 381-day boycott. Blacks stopped riding the bus. They walk, they carpooled, or anything, whatever they had to do instead of catching the bus for as long as Rosa Parks was in jail, for as long as the bus system was still segregated. And because of that, and 75% of the revenue of that company came from Black riders. And I'm not making this a black or white thing. I'm just saying that there was a large group of people that said, we don't like the fact that you are operating this business in this way, and we want it to change. So we're not gonna patronize your business until you make it to our liking. And that cost that company so much money. Tell the Supreme, not only did they cave, the Supreme Court made a decision that had a ripple effect through the entire United States as it pertained to segregation. So I think the story needs to be, because the story of the boycott part is the powerful one. The story about Rosa Parks, no disrespect to her, like much respect, more respect to her. People ain't gonna like this, but more respect to her than respect to Martin Luther King. Yeah. I mean, for me, because it's easy for the leader to tell people where to go and what they should endure, right? It's like the war in right now. Like, you could send troops in, for the leader to send troops in. Given he was the front of the line for a lot of marches, but there was a lot of people that was going out there because they believed in what he was talking about and suffered, was killed, beaten, arrested, all these other type stuff. And it took the entire effort, but it's people who took the ultimate risk that I have a lot of respect for, more so than the person who enjoy, oh boy, this is tough to say. I would just say it, that enjoy the big responsibility of being the leader of that group of strong-willed people. It's really it's always the people for me. It's not.
I feel you. I understand what you're saying.
Yeah,
but I don't think what you're saying applies per se in this situation, because, well, Martin Luther King got killed, right? It was his influence that led Rosa Parks and others to do what they did.
yeah.
Right. So I mean, I don't think he didn't. I don't think he also did not partake
Yeah.
in the activities. Maybe I don't think there's. We probably never hear stories about him, about things that he went through and that he did. You know what I mean?
True. True.
And same for many others. There are many names who would never be called
That's
because
what I'm saying. A
they
lot of
just
people
weren't
died.
recorded. So you're right about that.
Yeah.
But for
A
him
lot
to
of people were
for
shot.
him to come to the forefront and literally put a big target on his
Target on
chest.
his head. Yeah, I guess. Yeah. Yeah.
You know,
that's true.
it's a different responsibility, like you say. It's not the same as being on the front line with the troops, like you say, but you do have to know what that's like. And I think he knows. I think he knows what that's like.
It's hard. You don't think it's harder to take out the leader though, because the leader has protection. Like the leader has the backlash of, well, the leader can become the martyr, who would then trigger the entire revolution. So it's like you have to question if you are against a thing or this leader. You have to question, how can I take this person out without causing a revolution, without causing an entire breakdown of society? So you have to ask all these questions. But a person like Rosa Parks, you could pick her off and anybody could sing, they can make noise. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but again, you're right, because his influence still stands today. Here we are. I mean, what we're talking about is the boycott is essentially a non-violent protest.
Mm-hmm.
Correct. So it's a form of non-violent protest. It's
The
a
most
very
non-violent.
powerful one.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry.
The most non-violent, I believe.
Yeah. No,
protesting is violent. Protesting, screaming, yelling in the street, blowing whistle, getting people hung their
No,
horn. That's a
man.
bit.
No,
That's a
no,
bit.
no,
Come
no,
on
no,
now,
no.
that's intense. Y'all
No.
walking downtown in the hot sweat,
That's right. That's
sweating in the
rioting.
hot sun.
That's rioting.
No,
We didn't riot.
but protests easily turn in like protests easily turn in, like, y'all get case out. That's violent.
Yeah. well, the people who stood and sang "We Shall Overcome," they got cursed out too.
Yeah, that's why I say a protest. Protest is
stood
violent. You could throw tear gas into a protest. You could do all these type things. And up in a boycott, you really can't force people to go spend their money.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. That's a highly intangible form of protest. It's hard to deal with that physically.
Right.
Right. It's very hard to. You almost have to do what they say. Almost.
Yeah. Basically, yes.
So I agree with you there.
Mm-hmm.
But again, mm-hmm. I don't think a march necessarily is violent.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think so.
Yeah.
It's physical, but it's not violent.
Yeah.
But nevertheless,
okay.
The you're on point, and I wanted to get to this. You're on point for this topic today, because this is the kind of thing that this type of discussion is the kind that we need to have as a people, when we look at what is going on in our community and the things we're unhappy with. Now the question is, how do you boycott your own people? Is that even
easy?
No, but is it maybe I should say, is it okay to boycott your own? Is that okay?
Yes.
So it's easy.
I'll say why. And I'll use gas.
Let me be specific then.
Okay.
Because let's take gas for an example.
Yes.
Let's say we have in the Bahamas we have, and in certain states also, they have privately owned gas stations, like
correct. I have friends that own gas station. Yes, I have friends that own gas station. Yes.
All right. So we want to boycott. We want to protest against the increase in fuel price or some surcharge that the government puts on, right?
Yes.
Okay, good. So that means we shouldn't go to John Smith gas station. We should stop going to John. So, but John Smith now is a pillar of the community.
Yes.
He's a good man. He's a father. He provides for his home, pays for his children's school fee and stuff. So we could take that away from him. He's just a black man working hard who did well for himself. Yes. So why should we damage him?
You know why? Because the owners of gas stations are in a much more influential position when it comes to negotiating with the government.
Okay, maybe.
No, ain't no maybe.
Well, okay. So,
that's
but
a
that doesn't
fact.
mean, that they have any type of influence over the government at all.
Yes, it does. You know why?
Because you can talk and you could say this is. I could call up the minister of energy and transport and say, "Hey, man, y'all got to fix this."
No,
And he
no,
could
but
say,
see,
"Okay," and his
but here,
boss could say, "No."
but here's the deal. And okay, I'm just gonna it's my opinion here. But I would imagine, this is my imagination, this isn't fact, I would imagine that there are campaign contributions from private entities like big entities like gas stations. And I would even apply it to what's happening in the Bahamas. We all know, if you don't know, there are gas companies that aren't everybody who in the family that owns that gas company is on one side or the other side of the political fence. They either PLP or they F&M, right? Or they may spin off and do something else. We know they are politically involved. Therefore, we can imagine that they make considerable campaign contributions because the campaigns don't pay for themselves. And even if that's not the case, if people boycott the gas stations because of the gas prices, the government is still charging 50, well, let me don't quote, but is a large sum of what you're paying at the tanks that is actually a gas tax. So if they are charging that as if they're getting all of that money from taxing the gas, now that's revenue that the government is also losing along with the gas station owner. Now, and this is just business now. Like the Bahamian people should not have to suffer for the businessman nor for the poor management on behalf of government when the government is actually supposed to, like I said on another show, exploit the assets for the benefit of the people. And that's why, assets, the gas. Well, the gas and the gas stations. They're supposed to go to negotiate with gas stations in the best way by which it benefits the Bahamian people, not just try to find, a lot of people need gas and we know they can't run away from it and we don't care how high the gas price go. We could collect a lot of taxes from here. No. Okay,
go ahead.
No, I love the fact that I'm in a place where I can experience what happens in other countries when these type things happens, right? Right now, the Canadian Prime Minister and the Canadian government is making changes to the way they tax gas to lower it by 10 cents per liter. They are acting on the fact that the Strait of Hormuz is closed and the gas prices is going sky high and their people are suffering. So they before having to experience a boycott of people walking, whatever, they already go into action. So there is that's evidence to me that there is something that the government can do, but they are not going to.
That's unfair to say. That's unfair to say because you can't parallel Canada to the Bahamas per se.
Why not?
Because we don't know. Even our government is structured more similarly than the United States, but it's still structured differently. Our situations are absolutely different. Canada is a country that can take care of itself without anybody's input.
Yeah, but the devil in the details, there, though.
The devil is in the details. That's my point. The devil's in the details. So my thing is, I don't always jump to the people in charge could do better, because what I've found in my short time and small privileged periods of being around these people who make certain decisions and stuff like that is that they can't do much better. Most of them are doing the best they can. Most. There are a small few who are taking advantage or not doing the best they can or not seeking the people's interests. Those are the small percentage. Those are not the majority, right? And that's just being honest now, being truthful. So knowing that now, and actually, when you get the actual devil details that you were talking about,
Mhm.
I can guarantee you, without even looking it up, that the way Canada acquires their fuel is different from the way we acquire ours. Their agreement is much different than ours,
Mhm.
and they even have the thing called fuel reserves. We have no idea. We can't even spell that, right? So they can leverage, and the United States as well can leverage the price of fuel by releasing from the reserves and doing all type of things that they have available to them that we don't have. You understand what I'm saying?
Why we
We
don't
don't
have
have
it
these,
though,
we
Doc? Why
think these
why we don't
things.
have
We
it?
think we have these things available, but we do not.
Let me let
We
me
don't.
let me let me let me let me remind you of when Portcake. I mean, when he was the minister, Miller. Um,
Do that.
um, what's his first name? Jesus Lord.
Leslie,
Leslie Miller. Leslie
you
is, I
call
was
him
gonna say
Portcake?
Leslie is dad. Yeah, that's his nickname, Portcake.
Oh, okay.
That's his nickname. So when Leslie Miller was pushing for the government to bring in LNG or make this agreement, he was trying to make agreements for the Bahamian people to get cheaper gas.
Okay.
And for whatever reason, it didn't happen. And he was upset about it. And they always used to be upset with Leslie Miller because he used to tell people exactly how you feel, exactly the way he felt it. And but
Mm.
he was trying to operate in the benefit of the Bahamian people. And
And what you
see,
think? What you think happened?
oh, okay. Let me
Now,
show
now,
up.
now, this is speculation. You better throw up that thing, please.
let
It's
me
we're a little late to put that up. You're supposed
let
to put
me
that up at the
let
beginning of
me
the show.
yeah, it's always at the beginning of the show, so we
Okay.
ain't got to
Okay.
worry about that. It's
All
always at
right.
the beginning of the show. So if I am to speculate, let me say that what I think happened is that the people that made the call could not figure out a way to wiggle themselves into the equation to be able to make a lot of money, and they probably Leslie Miller was probably already wiggled in the way he wanted to be wiggled in order to make what he needed to make off, which he probably deserved. Um, but they decided not to do it because it would up again. Probably the local gas owners probably lobbied against it, and they probably had more influence and say on the matter than Leslie Miller did with whoever the government was. So that's one thing. And then the other thing is that people couldn't find a way to get money in their pockets from the transaction. I think that's what happened. And who loses in that scenario? Us, none the wiser, the Bahamian people. And what I'm saying is with the power of boycott, which is way more powerful than protests, the
No, it is a
people
protest.
can the people can demand and get the change they want to see. I protested the sale of BTC. You know what that got me? I was almost arrested. They had me on the news. I was pictured in the newspaper, wrenched right up. Police officers about to lock me up. And the experience of that protesting, there was a female officer who was saying, "Yeah, you out here pressing, you stupid self, you stupid now, you lock up. That's good for you. You lock up now. You're too stupid." But let me explain what happened. What actually happened was we went out there to protest one of the last assets owned by the Bahamian people being sold. I didn't agree with that. So they had, this is when they had already started the practice of putting the stanchions out to keep people away from getting into Parliament Square. And I heard some instigators say, "We could push down these stanchions. We could push these down." Right. So there's like everybody stand in front of the stanchions. So I wasn't really paying too much attention to pushing down the stanchions, and I wasn't about to push down those stanchions. But I'm a courageous young man. So I was standing in front of the stanchions, and all I felt was people behind me pushing me into the stanchion. So I was one of the first people to fall through. Hence, the first person to get wrench up. Right? Right?
That
But
was it by the collar or was it by the pants?
but I can't remember, but I was all yuck up. I
Okay,
was probably the
as long as
pants
it's
and
the
the
collar.
collar. I was pants and the collar.
The pants and the collar. That is. So
Yeah.
you got one of these.
Yeah, exactly. That is carrying me away. And hey, and flicking the newspaper that they sting self could take picture of it and put in. Look at Dyson. But I do it. I would and I wouldn't do it again. And here's the deal. Here's the situation, because I realized that even though I protested and was almost arrested, the damn thing still gets sold. They still sell it. You understand? So my protest, and there was a lot of people out there, my protest did absolutely nothing. However, if you want better internet service, doc, I mean, you either could pick one or the other, but you could choose to not have internet. You could say, hey, bro, these people slapping up me and a bunch of doctors, instead of sweating in the sun for an hour walking downtown, we decided we all gonna not use the internet for the next for a month cycle. We get all the nurses together. We're not going to use the internet from this provider because we think this is foolishness, either the price or the service or whatever. Okay, all of that is foolishness. We got all of the we use AI to get people numbers from all the patients, and we tell all of them, and they all agree that we're not going to use it. And when that internet service provider did that, let's backtrack. When it was sold and the new owner came in, and the Bahamian people, if the Bahamian people had said, we're not going to use that service, what is that investor going to do? Y'all can have y'all BTC back.
I have to say,
Take
this
it back.
is the problem. This is the problem. This is the problem with the boycott as a form of protest. It is very powerful, but the problem is it requires two things. It requires team effort and coordination.
That's the difficulty.
It requires, or you can say it requires some form of togetherness as far as community is concerned.
Absolutely.
And it also requires significant participation.
Absolutely. 100% what it requires.
Those two things. So if you don't have those two things, your boycott is as useless as you pushing down the stanchion. It's completely useless. You're not gonna get anywhere. And in our community, guess what? Them same people who was saying in the comments or whatever, who was saying, yes, don't sell BTC, don't sell us out, blah blah blah. When you in the paper, they're the same people who are gonna taunt you and say, look, you are up in the paper. Look at what happened to you. It's the same people.
Yeah,
it's the same people. It ain't different people. It's the exact same people, right?
Yeah.
And
yes.
But when you successful with your boycott, then they can be right next to you.
Yeah, they benefit from it.
That's right. These are the same people. So that is the problem inherently with the boycott as a form of protest. As powerful as it is, you need togetherness and unity, which is something our culture and our people with this skin tone suffer from.
Pause.
It requires significant numbers. Significant meaning it has to be enough people to make a difference. I don't buy Balenciaga. Balenciaga does not care that I don't buy Balenciaga. They don't care. They don't care at all, right? But as soon as more influential Black people say, I'm not wearing Balenciaga because of X, Y, and Z, then they're going to say, you know what? Okay, let's pay attention. Or at the very least, you need somebody who can represent a few thousand people. Like a celebrity, like yourself, for example, a celebrity who could represent, like yourself, bro, who can represent, nobody cares about Dr. Ken Bazard, don't buy their stuff. But if Dyson Knight go on stage and say, I'm only wearing Nike, I'm not wearing Reebok can call and say, hey, who's this guy? What did we do? Did we offend him? Come on, call him up. Call him up. Let's see why he's not wearing our stuff.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
They don't care. They don't care about me.
Which is why I say if the gas station people call up, it could be different than if I call them, right? But that's my that you are right. It is difficult to successfully pull off a boycott. And here's the thing: I want to speak directly to the Bahamian people, because there's other countries that get it. I should have looked that up. There are some countries that really turn stuff around, because as a people, they say, no, we're not into that, and they able to get the change like the next day or the next week. They do it all the time in Canada too. Like America is experiencing the wrath of Canada when it comes to tourism.
There was a country in the Caribbean. Short story.
It was a Caribbean country.
One of the smaller countries with Royal Bank, and the Royal Bank was going to impose some type of fee.
There it is.
And everybody went to the Royal Bank and say, you know what?
And withdraw. And
we taking our money out.
Yes.
Yeah. So things like that.
And Bahamian banks need to experience that. I ain't gonna tell you no lie. What foreign banks are doing in the Bahamas is flicking crazy to me. That's insane. And people don't know. A lot of people don't know better, but that is crazy.
We need to bring one of our banking colleagues on here one day, because I have a lot of issues to vent with the banks. A lot.
It's insane. Let's see if we can make that happen.
So we talk about, we could probably add one more difficulty to the boycott, is that especially in a community like ours, you may not have a lot of options for the service, and maybe a service that you really need.
Of course.
I can't go back to catching bus if I'm protesting the gas station. I can't catch bus. I can't do that. I can't do it. Maybe I can do a bicycle. I can do bicycle.
But you're gonna have to do it, Doc. You'll do a bicycle. That's fine. That's fine.
No, so let's have a discussion about the boycott. Let's talk about it. You know what I mean? Because some people levels of boycott are more allowing than others.
I would love to use any platform I have to organize a boycott. I love a good boycott for a good cause. But I wanted to point out something to you. You said we don't have that togetherness as a people. But in the Bahamas, there are other groupings of people, same complexion, that do have that togetherness. And we would just like how we complain about the price of eggs. I couldn't figure out it being such a big deal about eggs costing $9. I was like, okay, and what? You still could buy them? like literally, if it costs too much, don't buy it. Why y'all feel as though y'all need eggs? Like, people need to understand that there's a lot of things that you think you need, and people would corporate and commercialization would lead you to believe that you need a lot of things that you don't need. I could talk. Boy, I love to talk with my mama on this show. She's someone tell me about, but okay, let me know I talk about her. I know some people. I know some people, let's just say that live a literal 6-minute walk from a grocery store, not a convenience store, a grocery store. Tell me why they feel as though there's a problem walking there. Every time you go there, you feel you need to drive. No, you don't need to drive. And these people who I talking about, who I know, would travel to different places. They would go to all the way 9 hour flights to different places and walk everywhere.
Man, another time, but I once did a 4-hour walk in Japan. I walked 2 counties and over a mountain.
So you could walk around Nassau in 4 hours.
That's another story. But that's 4 hours of walking.
You can literally walk around Nassau in 4 hours. And
There's actually a
when
community. There's a community, the Mennonites. Have you heard of the Mennon? Do you know we have a Mennonite community in the Bahamas?
oh no, I didn't know.
Yeah, we do. So they don't use cars.
See?
They don't
So
use
it's
cars. They
like
walk everywhere.
my thing is certain things is easy for us to boycott because we really don't need it. And I think that what we went through in COVID would really be a great example of how many things we don't need. Like we want them, and it's okay to want them, but if the service is not up to power, if the price is not fair, if the only way to change it, like Doc, you are a former mixed martial arts champion, right? You could take my hardest punch. You could take my hardest punch and laugh it off. No, you could take my hardest punch, right? But does that mean because I know you could take the punch that I should punch you? Like, okay, boy, I hate when I do
Does
this.
that even mean I should take the punch just because I know I should take it? Because
Right.
I didn't like getting hit at all. So you know what I did? I moved.
But here's the
I moved.
thing.
I
But here's
moved
the
out of the
thing.
way.
If you take it and you being the Bahamian people, if you take the punch, if I know you could take a punch, so I only punch you hard enough so that you don't complain. If I only do to you just so much to keep you either not complaining or quietly complaining, I can continue to increase the intensity by which I take advantage of the fact that you are going to take what I'm giving you. And that's what we are experiencing as a people. We like people test it all the time. They test to see push the envelope. How much are these people going to take before they complain? They don't care that the banks don't pay interest on and we using their money to make more money, and they don't we could do this. Okay, let's see how much interest we could charge when we loan them their own money. Let's see what else we could get out of them. Let's see if we could charge them a monthly fee for holding their money. You see what I'm saying? Let's see if we could charge more money if they don't have as much money in the bank. Let's see what all they could take. And until they start screaming or until they start protesting or until they boycott, they will continue to take advantage of the people. And I think that's what we need to understand, because there are some entities out there that are paying a lot of money just to make sure they're only doing enough to not piss you all the way off. Independence Day is a great example of how the government tests the waters of the people. How patriotic are the people feeling right now? When we have the campaign rallies are, that's not to spread a message of what the platform is when we take government. That is to see how much support we have from the people. Have we done enough to really piss them off? We need to calculate what's going on. What are they complaining about? It's time to get my vote now. So what can I resolve to ensure that they vote? How pissed off are they? What's the temperature? Boycotting is powerful. If you don't go to the I campaigned with the F&M in the last election, and at the last rally, I looked at one of my colleagues on the campaign trail, and I look at the amount of crowd, and I say, well, I guess we lose this one. I said it, and then
No, boy, no.
It was right out there.
You can't go by that in Bahamian politics.
What?
You can't go by that. No, boy.
What?
You can't go by
What?
that. Bahamians, listen to me. Bahamians are the most ruthless voters on this side of the world. Ruthless. We are ruthless, bro. And this is a good thing. We need to maintain that. I hope we never lose that. Now, you have some people who just vote for voting's sake, but we some of the most ruthless. We will show up to the poll in your shirt and vote against you, bro. We will have you in the house, take your turkey that you bring, take the t-shirts, give my child a job and all that stuff, clean up the front of my yard and all of that, and we will vote against you. That's how.
Yeah,
Bro, ruthless way.
In that way, and speaking of, because we almost believe it or not, we like basically out of time. But yeah, check this out. Hmm. There are some things that I think we should not boycott.
Okay.
And one of those things is voting. Like I get it. I hate the fact that after you vote, it's pretty much you get what you get. Right? Um, unless you're willing to vote and boycott if they're not doing what they said they were going to do. No new taxes was one of the platforms in which the last government, this present government campaigned on, right? And survey says not so true. And you said it in one of the previous shows that we don't know the inner workings. A lot of times they don't know the actual conditions of the country when they're campaigning to get in. So they may have their mind set to doing a certain thing, but when they get in, they realize that okay, it can't go like that. However,
Listen,
however,
one private campaigner party leader said that every high school student graduating, if he's elected, every high school student graduating from government school will get $1 million. That's what he said. No, that's what he said. And people, no, I'm not trying to, I'm
no,
quoting. He said they will get $1
okay,
million,
okay,
and
okay.
people
I
still
wish for that.
follow. There are people who follow him and say, yeah, let's do that. You understand what I mean?
Yeah, that's why I say it have to be sensible, boy.
So,
Like it
so
can't just be
these are all the
way
things that
edge.
complicate the the boycott as a protest. You have so
Right,
many different ideologies, personalities, and the boycott is not an individual thing.
right.
It's not a popularity thing, right? Nobody
Yeah,
has to know that you're boycotting something. Nobody has to know, you
true.
know.
Exactly,
So
exactly.
but we just have to do it together, right?
Yeah,
That
yeah,
nobody has to know. So it's to me, I see that's the biggest challenge, and the first thing that we need to solve if we're gonna boycott something that is detrimental to us as people, as a country. We need to first agree that this thing is bad,
yeah.
and then we need to all work as a unit to achieve the boycott, for the boycott to be successful and significant enough for that change to happen. And that's why it's so rarely used.
Yeah, yeah. Um, I think it's a lot of information, and I do definitely want to get back on the healthcare situation. We may have to, and the bank situation. Let me see if we could find someone to really come on the show and discuss that. But Doc, has been a great show again. Wonderful talking to you. You are a brilliant mind,
Always a pleasure, brother.
and I'm sure people appreciate your opinions on today's topic. Any last words?
Um, just to reiterate, the boycott is a form of protest. And the most important thing we need as a people is unity. That's the reason why let's just say those powers that are against us are more interested in keeping us divided than they are. This is something we spoke about, I think, 2 weeks ago. The
Mm-hmm.
Why Are We Arguing show. It's because the more separated and divided we are, the more we are at each other's throats, the less powerful we are. I said this 2 weeks ago, right?
Yeah.
So those forces that want to keep us divided, they want to keep us divided because once we're united, as simple as saying we're not supporting you with our hard-earned money is a very powerful statement. And that's a statement that nobody wants to deal with. Nobody wants to deal with that. So
Yeah.
I think unity is the main thing that we need to focus on. And hopefully one day that we can execute an effective boycott of something that needs to be boycotted, and to make our community a better place.
I think that's a word, Doc. Y'all stop getting stop allowing entities to goosey you.